Yes. First, I wanted to clarify on the point you raised about the communities taking responsibility. You're correct that on on the question about communities maintaining the water channels in Budaleja, it went down slightly from 78 to 76%. But let me say, when you read the results in terms of changes, only pay attention to the statistically significant changes. Look at the asterisks. There were no asterisks there. That was not a significant change. Basically, it was the same before and after. That is, and very high, 76%, said the communities should maintain the water channels during the wet season, and there was a significant increase in that the community should be responsible for desilting the riverbeds. That went from 52 to 64%. And in fact, in Baduda, the communities maintaining the wetland during the dry season went up significantly from 55 to 68%. Still not as high as Budaleja. Budaleja started high and stayed about the same. Baduda went up. The communities wanted to take more responsibility. They wanted to take more responsibility also for desilting the riverbeds. That is, in Budaleja, that went up from 52 to 64%. So, read very carefully, the communities were willing to take responsibility. They understood there were certain problems, as we see in the qualitative. Remember, we taped all the small groups. So they were concerned about the machinery and resources and the rest, but they were willing to take responsibility. So I think that's the message that I would like on those issues to come out of the data. Now, on the general point, let me just elaborate a little bit more about the issue of the role of expertise and the issue of whether the people are always right. The people are not always right, but I think it's very important for policymakers to hear what they really think, if they were really thinking about it. So this is a very unusual project in that it was an almost perfect random sample and gathered together to really think about the issues. But what did they think about? They thought about an agenda that had been developed over months by an expert group of stakeholders, many of whom were in this room, who deliberated for a long time about what should be taken to the people, what might it be practical for them to consider. And then there was an elaborate briefing document which served as a discussion guide for the moderators and a guide for that video that was shown, so that the people who couldn't read it would see the video. But the elaborate discussion guide had all the pros and cons for those policies that the experts could think of as a way of starting the discussion. That doesn't mean they were all the pros and cons, but they were all the ones the stakeholder advisory group could think of that were worth consideration by the people, and everything was vetted for balance and accuracy. That was just to prepare the dialogue.